All right, everybody, back again with another game and installment in this long playlist of Win with the Closed Sicilian. And this game is from Stroud 1980. And the player with the white pieces is Gary Lane, author of the chess book Winning with the Closed Sicilian, which I suggest. I put it in the playlist also, along with DVDs, uh, so you could, check it out and get the whole actual, work, itself. Of course, my uh, analysis is not using the engine. I'm just sharing general principles, which I believe are better than just going over like variations and things like that. But if you want all like the variations and that part of it, I suggest actually getting the book or and again, back in those days when the book came out, there was no computer analysis. Um, but I suggest, if you want all like the analysis, variations, and stuff like that, you actually get, get the book. But there's DVDs in the links below. The Sicilian, um, black and white side, and also the actual book that um, we have converted, somewhat into an audio book. But again, um, all of these books that I do or go over, I've studied or read extensively at some time, and I've come with my own ideas and understandings um, that I like to share with you. So enjoy this game. This is dealing in the lines with Rook B8, which is very common. So E4 C5, Knight C3, Knight C6, G3, and Rook B8. Now, again, let's speak general principles here. Of course, the idea is to support the advance of the B pawn, and the idea is very simple. Black knows that white strategy is to attack rapidly on the king side. So before white even gets a glimmer of hope on the king side, he already just activates his queen side attack. If you've been following the videos, you saw in the game Bronstein Keres the same idea, which did not work out too well for the black side. This move lacks flexibility as it's real committal early in the game before the really the pieces are out for both sides. Uh, it just doesn't follow general chess principles of rapid development, getting pieces out. Uh, on the king side. Um, in other words, it's a superficial type move, and white should be able to get some type of an advantage out of it. Of course, the idea that black is relying on another basic chess principle is that since the position is closed, that the time is not as important and that he should be able to get away with this type of idea. So let's see what happened here. So after rook b8 on move 3, bishop g2, g6, d3 happened, bishop g7, f4, b5, now knight f3. And you can see that white is just playing the normal closed Sicilian moves here. b4, knight e2, now queen b6. So we can see that black's queenside assault is in full swing. Castle, don't worry about the discover check here because you could just play d4. So d6 is played. Now king h1. Good move. You're seeing a lot of different variations where the pawn is on f4. Knight f6. h3. And this move is generally played to keep the knight off of g4 so that later white can play bishop e3 without any harassment from the knight on g4. c4. And of course, um, this is the principle behind this is that black is just trying to undermine the white center. Now G4, and we can see that black's attack is far advanced on the queen side, and so finally white starts his attack on the other side of the board. So C3 and C takes D3, and to me already black's attack is in trouble on the queen side as far as being stalled, just due to these pawns being symmetrical like this. Um, because black will be able to, the white will be able to lock the position up if needed. Only thing he has to really consider is getting this getting this rook off this diagonal. So after C takes castles, thematic F5. All right. And since black's king is actually in the line of fire, black always has to, take, take extreme precaution and make sure that he takes the proper measures to at least slow down the white attack. He can't just go recklessly on with the queen side attack because you might get checkmated or lose material. He has to take time and pause and maybe play on the king side a little bit to slow this attack down. All right, and if he fails to do this, it might be too late. Okay, this is a powerful lesson, and I mentioned this a while ago and earlier along when I started doing this win with the Sicilian series. That if you study the Geller Spassky candidates match in 1968, you'll see 3 games that featured the closed Sicilian. Spassky won 2 of those games with the white pieces and drew another one, and that was basically the problem in those games for Geller, is that he consistently ignored white's attack on the queen side in the effort to try to push through his own attack. And without taking those prophylactic measures, he ended up in serious trouble and losing 2 out of 3 games. Moving on, after F5, bishop A6, knight to F4. All right, white just continues to build up his attack. Rook Fe8, G5, knight to D7, knight D5, and now queen A5. And now we see another theme that we saw in the games is notice how far the queen is away from the action. Right? You see all of these pieces on the queen side. Okay, how's the queen going to get back? Who's going to take care of the king? Protect the king. So this is why a move like queen d8 is a little better. At least the queen is a little bit closer to help out over here if needed. Let's keep going. Knight e1. Okay, so now with the knight no longer in front of the rook, you can see f6 is now an option. All right. So now he goes to queen. Now he goes back to d8 with the idea of somehow hindering f6. But again, like I said in the other videos, you got to be willing to sacrifice material, especially when attacking the king. So f6 anyway. E takes f6. G takes f6. Knight takes f6 and pin bishop g5. So what are you going to do? You got to play the rook here. E6. Getting the last piece in. Look at that. Knight just hanging there. What to do? Bishop b7. Queen f3. Piling more pressure here. And knight e5. And you see how simple things are. Knight takes, bishop takes, bishop takes, knight takes f3, bishop d8, knight takes e1, bishop c7, knight takes g2. Again, we see another exchange gone. knight e3, rook f3, and rook takes e4 here. And the idea is, of course, is to have this situation going on. And after that took place, king g1, bishop takes f3, and then simply king f2, attacking two pieces at once. And I love how chess always boils down to the simplest tactics at the end, whether it's like a fork, double attack, or what have you. uh, Underneath all that complexity is just simplicity, right? So again, Black had to resign there, and just nice game showing the principles of the closed Sicilian. This just the opposite wing attack. Again, sacrificial um, ideas, not afraid to sacrifice material to open up files and diagonals and such. And you can see a simple motif at the end basically won the game, which is a pin. Right? It doesn't get any more basic than that. Sacrifice the pawn to get a pin, and we saw again the early strategy of Black of putting the rook on b8 really didn't cause White too much harm here, especially after this move. C takes d3. I didn't see much going on the queen side for Black. The only prospect here of attacking this d pawn was just not enough to make a White worry, and he just smashed through on the king side, and the game was over. So that game right there does it for our look at systems with rook b8. All right, there's two games, one by Spassky, one by Lane, and in our next video we'll be looking at systems dealing with a white deviation this time, and we'll be looking systems with the move g2, and that's going to look something like this right here, and it's a more positional approach from White. Again, we're not blocking the f pawn, right? But instead of playing f4 right away and revealing our intentions, we play the move knight ge2, and so we'll be looking at those down the line. But until then, please like and subscribe, donate if you can. That would be greatly appreciated, and check the links below. The DVDs, the actual book that this whole video series is based on is in there. So check that out if you like, and please comment, and I'll see you guys soon on the next video.